Hi. Um, there's something that is bothering me on many levels, and I'm having a really hard time separating out the levels to talk about it. And that is how certain pro-lifers behave when there is an ambulance outside an abortion clinic. Now, first of all, I want to say that I think it is a good thing for pro-lifers to be outside abortion clinics. Kudos to them for being there. I think there need to be people who are offering these women a last chance of hope, a last chance to save their babies, a last chance to avoid this grief, a last chance to turn this situation around into something joyful instead of something tragic. So, yes, it's great that you're there. It's absolutely great that you're there. Provided you're there in the right spirit, but it's good that you're there. And it's good that they're documenting things like women being hauled off in ambulances. I mean, there have case I've abstracted thousands and thousands and thousands of abortion malpractice cases, and I can't count the number of times a woman was injured by an abortion clinic and her lawyer went to get her medical records and the clinic tried to claim that she'd never been there. And that happens. So yes, it could actually be helpful to the woman where she can go to the pro-lifers and she can say, I was there May 5th in a green Mazda, such and such license plate. And then go, yeah, we take videos, every car that pulls in, here's your green Mazda. And then, yeah, that abortion clinic can no longer deny that she was there. So yeah, I mean, being there, documenting these things, that's good. And documenting that somebody was hauled off in an ambulance, again, that's good to document that. I mean, I'm a documentation junkie. Documenting is good. um, my problem is with the interpretation that anytime an ambulance is called to an abortion clinic, it automatically proves two things. One, abortion is dangerous. Well, no, most abortion, I mean, we're starting to get to the post viability abortions. That's a whole another ball of wax. But let's take, your basic first and early second trimester abortions. They're not any more dangerous than most other um, outpatient ambulatory surgery. They're not. If they were, given the conditions we've seen documented inside abortion clinics, the streets would look like the picture that abortion rights groups paint that we'd have if abortion was criminalized. Okay, it would be just gruesome. There would be women falling down and collapsing outside on the lawn of every single seedy abortion clinic, and that's not happening. So, yeah, it's 100%, nearly 100% fatal to the baby. I mean, sometimes something goes right for the baby, wrong for the abortionist, and the baby survives. But pretty much, yes, it's fatal for the baby. But it's, until we're getting into these late abortions or particularly high risk abortions, where the woman already has a medical condition, a first trimester, pretty much first half of the pregnancy abortion on a healthy woman is not particularly dangerous. And we lose credibility when pro-lifers are there. See, they called an ambulance. Abortion is dangerous. No, sorry. And that's not why we're opposed to abortion. We're opposed to abortion because it's fatal to babies and it's abandoning the mother to despair when you could be helping her. Okay? We've got plenty of legitimate reasons. It's inherently unsafe to women is not one of them. And the other thing is every time an ambulance pulls up, they take it. Look, they're committing malpractice. Not necessarily. First of all, that ambulance might not have anything to do with an abortion. This woman might have been brought to the clinic by her grandmother who then had a stroke. Okay, the fact that the ambulance pulled up proves nothing. There could be an employee who's diabetic who went hypoglycemic or hyperglycemic and they called an ambulance for her. Okay, so the mere fact of the ambulance being there is not proof of any malpractice. Now, but kudos, good job getting 911 tapes, getting 911 transcripts so that you know what it's about. Okay, then we might be able to see that, yes, this is related to an abortion injury or complication. Injuries and complications don't prove malpractice. Okay, might be malpractice, might not be malpractice. And the fact that we consider it horrendous that they're going in there with the intention of killing that innocent unborn baby does not necessarily mean that they were doing it in such a manner as to be careless of that woman's well-being. Okay? You have to get that most of these people are there and listen. We've got a gazillion former abortion practitioners in the pro-life side, and most of them will say, I had myself thoroughly convinced we were helping women. Now, if we're believing them when they're saying, when I was there, I had myself convinced I was helping women, that yeah, probably the ones that are still in practice have themselves convinced that they're helping women. Okay? So, you can't be cynical until you have proof otherwise. Um, it might just be an ordinary garden variety complication. We don't necessarily know that it was malpractice. And I get so frustrated with getting upset that the clinic workers are trying to protect the patient's privacy by holding up blankets and umbrellas. That is a courtesy that they're extending to her. Okay. And all the pro-lifers need to be doing is documenting that there's an ambulance there. Okay. We don't need to be showing a lack of courtesy and a lack of respect by trying to get a shot of her face. If she wants to come forward, she'll come forward. Allow her some dignity, even if, yes, she was going in there and the end result was killing her baby. We don't know that she went in thinking of it that way. We know nothing about her circumstances. We know nothing about why she went in there. And the pro-life movement is flooded with post-abortive women. And we're not going, look at all of them. They were just horrible, selfish baby murderers. We don't treat the women in our own movement that way. We should not treat that woman that way. We don't know her. We have no idea why she went in there. We have no idea. It could be that she was a Rosa Naparstek Taft who had a party the night before her abortion to celebrate that she was the first one in her group to get to avail herself of a safe legal abortion. Aren't we all just jolly? Might be. Or it might be some teenage girl whose boyfriend abuses her, who or has been pregnant because her stepfather raped her and brought her in for an abortion. We don't know. It could be anything on that spectrum, and we don't know. And we need to show that woman dignity and respect. Period. And do you know what happens when abortion clinics don't call ambulances? Women die. Okay? There have been abortion clinics carrying women out to cars with IVs still in them. There have been abortion clinics loading hemorrhaging women into wheelchairs, pushing them out into the parking lot, and shoving them into family members' cars to bleed to death on the way home. Okay? When they don't call an ambulance, that's when they deserve to be castigated. They are taking that patient's health and well-being seriously when they call an ambulance, especially when they know that there are pro-lifers outside with video cameras who are going to be all over YouTube and all over Facebook screaming from the rooftops, look at this, abortion's dangerous, they're committing malpractice. But they are still putting that patient's welfare first and calling that ambulance. Okay? They might have not been doing a right thing by starting that abortion. Okay. We don't know what they're thinking. We don't know whether they're like Abby Johnson, who's like, I really thought I was helping women. Okay. We're not going to help lead them out and welcome them if we're not considering that we don't know what's going on in their hearts. We don't know what's going on in their heads. We don't know why they're doing this. To us, it's patently horrible, but it's not necessarily that way to them. They're being brave to call an ambulance when they know that the pro-lifers are outside. And they deserve credit for showing enough concern for that woman to actually call the ambulance. And let the dust settle. Yes, it might be malpractice. It might be appalling malpractice. They might have needlessly, totally endangered this woman's life, but we don't know that until the dust is settled. We've got all the information. So stop acting as though every ambulance is evidence of malpractice. The clinic that never calls an ambulance might not be one bit safer. They might just be sending the women to the hospital in privately owned cars or sending the women home without any care at all. And it's either grace of God that that woman survives or she dies and we never find out about it. Calling an ambulance is a good, responsible thing for them to do. and we need to stop acting like they're monsters every